Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And so far, Stranger Things 5 is ass. It's just ass.
It wasn't, the last part wasn't terrible, but this new second part, I was just like, huh? I mean, there was a lot of things that didn't make sense, like them standing there, and you know what I'm talking about. We're going to talk about it more later.
The standing and the talking. Yeah, there's a lot of feelings, talking, standing around. It's like, look, this is nowhere near as good as previous seasons of the show. We're going to talk about, I thought maybe it was just us because we watched it Christmas Day, and I'm like, maybe it's just us. Maybe we're just getting old, you know, but we've been watching this show with our kids since the very beginning. It was one of these, you know, rare shows that we find that we all enjoy, and we've watched every episode of, and we always watch it like the day it drops, and it's like an event for us. It's like Nerd Super Bowl. And this season so far, the first part was slow AF, and the second part was just a waste of time and ridiculous. And
yeah,
I think this season's going to go down like Game of Thrones last season with a lot of people.
I mean, I hope not, but it does. It's not looking good. It's like they're trying to, like the first part too, the episodes were longer, and you know, it just seems like now they're like, oh crap, we have to hurry wrap this up. And then in the end, it's going to be like, everybody's dead at the end. And that better not be the case, or I'm going to, you know, punch some people.
I don't think they've got the balls to do that. I had to bring up this horse drawing meme, you know, the one where it starts out, the horse is very well drawn, and then it gets less and less good. And then by the time you get to the end of it, it's a stick figure. And that's what this feels like to me. And I thought it was just us. It's not us. Actually, our son, who's probably the biggest fan in the house, came to us and said, you would not believe Reddit is throwing the show under the bus. Like they are not happy with it. There are some stans that are thrilled because it's all emotions and feelings and shit. But most people are like, this, it's just bad on multiple levels. It's not just the plot. It's not just the acting. It's not just the plot holes or the lack of explanation, but even down to the cinematography. People are like, it doesn't look as good as previous seasons. And this is supposed to be like the most expensive Netflix show ever done. And it looks cheap. And I even said that to our son, he's a big movie buff, he's a really good photographer. He has a really good eye for composition. And I'm like, is it just me, or does the show look really cheap compared to previous seasons? And he's like, no, it looks like a typical, like it was shot on HD, you know.
Well, that's it too. When the show says he's back in the 80s, and the first couple seasons looked like they were even 80s down to the way the film kind of looked. Yeah. Now it's just like they're not even trying for that aesthetic. They're just like, okay,
that it's a
big blockbuster now.
Yeah, that first season looked, I mean, even the film quality, I mean, it was digital, but the film quality of it looked like it could have been a movie from the 80s. Everything. I even commented when we first started watching, I'm like, the lighting and everything was very, very much on point. But this season, it looks like they just grabbed an iPhone and said, here you go, start filming it. And the effects, the CGI, everything looks shiny and cheap. You know, it looks like early CGI.
I don't know.
Where'd the money go?
I think, they said that, his costume's so much more advanced this time for Vecna. It is cool, but it's also like there's so much. Yeah, I wonder if they had to make it look more like the, HD and stuff so that they could do the effects better. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, I prefer the practical effects. Let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
If you want to support the channel, you want more content, go out to more.clownfishtv.com. Thank you very much for the support. We're going to be ramping that up going into 2026. Let's talk about this. We're going to rip the Band-Aid off right away. This isn't really a review so much as just venting about how piss poor this season is compared to previous seasons. So if you haven't seen it yet and you want to see it, you probably don't want to listen to this. But whatever, I'm sure all the spoilers are out there already, especially the big Will reveal that everybody saw coming like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I don't think that was really
a reveal, was it? Was it supposed to be a reveal? I thought it was just like him telling his friends, which, Jonathan already knew. They made that obvious. And, he was afraid. And I get what they were going for. They were going for the fact that, a lot of people can relate to it when you're coming out about something, that you're really afraid that all your friends are going to hate you and all your friends are going to not be your friend anymore, especially Mike, because he has a crush on Mike, all that stuff. You're always afraid of that kind of stuff. And I get that. But, did it need to be like that, like how they did it in this? It's like, not really, but because Vecna's going to use his fear against him. So he wants to get rid of his fear, which, that's valid. But I thought they just made it a much bigger deal that because his friends would all be like, yeah, we know, it shouldn't have been a shocker to anyone.
Yeah. So it's been discussed, is Will gay? They dropped, the hints. They've been dropping the hints, but it was just the way it was handled. That they had a big group there. Like we're dealing with the end of the world, right? We're dealing with the end of the world. They just got done. You've got Nancy and Jonathan just got done going to the Upside Down. They almost got melted into the damn scenery. And, Steve and Dustin almost got killed. And then there was
in both of those groups, they had these big emotional.
Yes, every fucking
the Dustin one and Steve one made sense.
Dustin and Steve made sense,
and they kept it kind of relatively short. But like the Nancy and Jonathan one, and it was like so now Nancy's just nobody.
So long and drawn out.
But it just happens that the floor hardens right when they're done.
But it's a fucking after-school special. They all sit around the radio station listening to Will blubbering. I don't know how to tell you this, guys, but I don't like girls. I'm like, everybody knew, Will, okay? It's not, whatever.
It was a bigger deal back then to admit that than it was.
Not when the world's ending.
I know, but but you have to understand context, too. Like, I'm not defending it. I'm just saying I think in the context they were going for, and the reason they made such a big deal about it was, why would Vecna show him that? Like, everybody rejects you because you're gay. And it's like, I guess you're using your biggest fear against you. And so it was more about him, outing it so that Vecna couldn't use it against him, to use it against his friends kind of thing. Yeah, that was kind
of an actual scene from, no, it's not. That would have been hilarious. So that would have been hilarious. Oh my God. Yeah, it's like he's just looking for weakness or whatever. And it was that's kind of very Freddy Krueger. I mean, Vecna's a very Freddy Krueger character, which is, why they had Robert Englund in the 4th season. Like, look, I'm going to tell you the truth. And I read an interview with the Duffer Brothers, and I like the Duffer Brothers. I do. But they didn't have a plan. There was no fucking plan.
There's obviously this. I think you could have ended it after the first one. You really wanted to push it after the second one, but there was no need to go past that. I mean, they really kind of gave it a good, solid, it's sealed off, and then we have a happy ending at the end of the second one. And they could have just stopped it there. And if you look at those seasons, even the season 3, leading into this, they all were like way better seasons, actually. They had more of a planned out season than what it seems to be for this one.
So I read this interview with him. It was in the Hollywood Reporter, and they were talking about how when they pitched this show to Netflix, they didn't even know how the Upside Down worked, what it was, whatever. It was like window dressing for the monster kidnaps the kids, and people are going. And that was a very basic premise. I liked it. I'm gonna be honest. And I talked to Squid King about this too. I like it better when the threat is still mysterious somewhat. Like, we don't need to know the whole fucking backstory of everything, right? It's supposed to be mysterious, strange and mysterious, like a monster shows up from God knows where, kills people, we deal with it. We don't need to know where it came from or the traumatic history of the person behind the monsters.
Mm-hmm.
But they to pitch it to Netflix, they asked them, they said, well, do you have a story Bible? They didn't have a story Bible. They're like, do you have a story Bible so we understand like how this world actually works? Because I think they were trying to put feelers out to see if they could do more, because I think they only had that first season, which is basically, E.T. and a bunch of other movies mashed up. But I think they didn't have a plan, so Netflix wanted to see if there could be a plan. But you can see the plan changing throughout the series. In retrospect, you can go back and you can see, like, yeah, they're going in this direction with it. And all of a sudden, we're going to introduce Freddy Krueger because we need another bad guy.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, and
they
then...
They should have stopped it, too. I mean, I'm low-key kind of glad they didn't, because I like some of the other seasons, too. But, honestly, you could stop watching it, too, and it gives it a good ending, and that should be it.
Actually, 2 even was like, because they were going to go in a different direction with, Elle's siblings, I guess, Callie and all that. Okay,
the siblings thing, they take that episode out, and then you could end there, because everybody hated that episode. It was
stupid. The whole purpose, and I looked through the whole series, I'm like, they spend the entire series keeping Elle away from everybody else because she's so overpowered. Which is so weird. I mean, it's like you've got this amazingly overpowered character, but you can't really, there's no threat when she's around, So they have to either depower her or separate her from everybody else. And it's kind of dumb because the whole heart of the series, the original series, was Mike and Elle, right? And then you have to keep them separated as much as you can because she's too ridiculous. Every time there's danger, we have to send her to California or send her, we depower her somehow. You know what I'm saying? It's like you look at it and it's like, yeah, clearly there was no plan. There was no plan.
I don't know. I just think, okay, I just want to take about a moment to talk about a couple of things. One, since you brought up Callie, the sister. Now Callie suddenly appears. Now there is no proof that Callie saw what Callie saw, and she said so. She's definitely up to something.
Callie's look. It means it's the Hindu god of destruction.
Yeah, something like that. So I'm just like, I'm still thinking that she's either under the control of the Mind Flayer, or she is the Mind Flayer, or something like that. Because I don't know. I just think that she's definitely going to do something shit, like she wants Elle to replace Henry or something. So I mean, who knows? We'll find out, I guess, in a few days. If we, I don't think people care as much now. Yeah. Our son was like, I actually wanted to go get tickets to go see it in the theater. And he's like, after the last part, I'm like, nah, I'm good. And then, okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, no, I almost 100% agree. I think that Callie's a big bad. But I don't think that was planned. I don't think that was planned.
Or under the, or control of, one of the two. And then, the other things that annoyed me, they had the Demogorgon and they were going to, reanimate it temporarily so he can make a connection. Okay, which is kind of a cool idea. Except I thought they hated heat.
Nothing makes sense. The upside down doesn't make sense. Like the first couples, like I was talking to the kids about this, I'm like, they couldn't go into the upside down. They couldn't breathe. Now all of a sudden they're just going in and out of it like it's a freaking 7-Eleven. They just, it's a revolving door. Just every other day we're going to go in the upside down.
Yeah, they had to wear suits and masks and they didn't know what the spores were.
Nobody's going to die unless...
Just breathing it in for kicks and giggles. I guess the whole town got doused in it, so who cares at this point? But
nobody dies unless they were introduced in that season. Whoever the new character is that season's the one who dies.
Uh-oh, Derek.
Oh, my God, Derek.
Okay, then Holly Wheeler. Yeah, they had Holly Wheeler was always a side character forever. And now all of a sudden she's like the main character and everything hinges on her. And, and everything else. And it's like, all you see is Holly Wheeler, Holly Wheeler, Holly Wheeler the whole way through. I don't know if it's the girl's contract to play Holly Wheeler. She gets the main character. Or...
Nothing about, okay, so let's talk about that for a second. Nothing about the fucking Holly Wheeler. And I would say it's a subplot. It is the plot of the entire 5th season. We basically introduced a new character. She was not even a background character. Like you had to keep reminding yourself in previous seasons, like, oh yeah, they have a little sister. Yeah, they have a little sister, but she barely does anything. She's just there. She's like a prop, right? She's like the television set. She's just there. And all of a sudden, not only are we going to make her the main character, but for some reason, she's like 25 years old. I don't understand.
She's not, that old, but she looks a lot older than the other kids. Yeah.
But she sounds like she's been chain smoking for years. I mean, she's talking to Max. Spoiler. She's talking to Max. She's got a deeper voice than Max does. I'm like, this kid, how old is this kid? Like 16? I mean, I'm like, it pulls me out of it because I'm like, you effectively, since she's nothing like the previous Holly and she's not even the same age, and you've made her the entire focus of the show, you have introduced a new character and sidelined all the main characters. Like, this is supposed to be tying off all their arcs. I'm sorry, sitting around crying about your relationship problems or your feelings, or fuck your feelings. The world is ending. If this were actually an 80s movie, fuck your feelings. The world's ending. And also one of you is going to get eaten quick.
Well, I just think, I notice it more and more. Like I have characters like Dustin and Steve. You feel something, but like when they had the breakup between Jonathan and Nancy, that was really stupid. I was just like, okay. And then Jonathan dies. I don't feel anything. And then Jonathan dies and then nothing happened. I was like, I don't feel anything. And
he didn't die. That's the thing that sucked. I was like, at least something happens. Like Nancy, because that would have been beautiful.
I guess I should specify if you haven't watched it. Yeah,
Jonathan doesn't die.
You're thinking he's going to die or something, and then nothing.
I thought they were going to Titanic it because they're on a table. The upside down's melting. They're on a table. It's sinking into the goo. And I thought they were going to like Artax him. I thought they were going to like get him stuck in the goo. And like Nancy gets away. It's like, come on, Jonathan. It's like, oh, I'm half stuck in the goo. I guess I'm just going to Save yourself. I'm going to die here. Or they were going to Titanic it. And he's like, oh, I'll just slide into the goo and you can have the table. You know, even though the table is clearly big enough for both of us, you can just have the table. But that's like, oh, yeah, I was going to marry you, but we broke up. Oh, it's okay. I'm dead because now you can go be with Steve or whatever. But I wouldn't.
No, they're not going to put her with anyone. So I think Nancy's going to make it because they said that they did the breakup because Nancy needs to be on her own and figure out who she is. Well, why do that if you're just going to kill her in the next episode? You know what I mean?
All the women are going to have agency, and the men are going to be the fodder that dies.
Speaking about it, women, okay. Well, first of all, let's keep with Holly here. What is up with everybody's saying this? So they have their portals out, and they sit there, and then they're going to talk about it. And they're going to talk and talk and talk. And then they start walking to the portals. And then they start running at the end. Like, I think they're going for dramatic effect, but you just look stupid. Everyone's like, why are they just standing there? Run. You'd be running for that portal because last time she was at the portal, he showed up. And they're like, well, he's afraid of this memory. And that might be the case. But he still could just show up. And you're just like, let's have a long convo. And then let's stroll casually.
Yeah, run up that hill. Let's not saunter toward the hole. Let's go to the magic hole. Go into the hole. You wanted to go home, right? Go into the hole. It's your home. We have to have a slow motion, God, the more I think about it, the more I talk about it. They're trying to
marvel it, and it's not working.
Yes, the more I think about it, the more angry I am because I'm like, you guys had how many fucking years and how much fucking money to stick the landing. And now we haven't seen the last episode. The last episode might be amazing, but I'm like, even if the last episode is amazing, you've wasted 7-8 episodes, a bunch of filler and introduce it basically the Holly Wheeler show.
Well, it just seems to be like they are. It is like they're trying to go more Marvel. Like it started out as like indie, its own thing, and it was really cool, and that's what maybe set apart and resonated with people. And then it's gone from that to being progressively more and more Marvel-esque, is the only way I could think of it, where it's, the stakes aren't as high. It just seems like it's all shiny and like, unreal. And you know what I'm saying? And the story doesn't have to be as good, but they're going to try to get jokes in there. So it doesn't have to be as good, but, look, some action scenes. You're good. That's enough. And that's kind of how it feels.
A little bit of action. There are no stakes. It doesn't feel like anybody can actually die. It doesn't feel like
the Demogorgons. They're going to kill everyone. I'm going to be sad.
They're not even a threat. They have the Demodogs in the hospital, and freaking Karen Wheeler puts an oxygen tank in the dryer. Which, would that work? I don't even know if that would work. And they look at it and they go, like Scooby-Doo style. And then they blow up. And I'm like, and that's after they ape Jurassic Park. And like all these other movies, it's like, look, at this point, you're just aping every damn 80s movie ever. But
Jurassic Park was a 90s movie, but yes.
Well, it's still the same school of thought, right? Like 80s, 90s, Steven Spielberg. And I get that. And some homages are nice. But everything in this show has been just lifted from other things, and it was done well at first because I'm like, wow, this feels really, like it's authentic. But it's kind of like with video game sequels or retro sequels, like, okay, you do like a Mega Man 10 and it's done the same, or Mega Man 9 and 10, it's done the same style as the originals, and it's like, that's a nice throwback. And then all of a sudden you're doing Mega Man 11 and it's all like 3D and polished and shit. That's what this feels like. It's like it got too successful. I almost wish it wasn't.
They too Hollywooded it. That always happens. This is what they don't understand. They always ruin it. They always ruin it because if you get something that's good, you keep milking it, which they could have stopped after the first one or two. And they had to keep milking it because they wanted to, make money and all this stuff, make it a brand. And I'm not complaining. 3 and 4 were kind of fun. This one just, definitely, but it definitely does kind of, the quality, the budget goes up, but the quality somehow in the story goes down every time. But they're trying to make it too fancy and they're trying to be like, look how, we're Hollywood, we want awards, we want, and all they're doing is killing everything that made it special. And they don't even know that they are. But that's what it's just enough's enough already. Can we just wrap this up?
Yeah, these are Stranger Things fans. Now, these are Stranger Things fans. They're complaining about Will's big coming out scene. They're like, that's the most ham-fisted after-school special shit ever. Like, it really should have been like, oh, you're gay? Okay, whatever. The world is fucking ending. Use your superpowers to help us.
Because the kid that plays Noah's shop said it was like 12 hours. They did this scene for 12 hours because they wanted every actor to have a reaction in it. So we kept having to repeat the damn scene for 12 hours.
It's about validation.
And then they made him come back for 12 hours of reshoots. And the girl, Sadie Sink, was saying about poor Noah was a trooper because he had to keep doing it over and over and over again. And that level of putting into it is going to make you exhausted. and he had to keep doing it. And I'm like, yeah, and he's the one that's supposed to be gay now in reality, and they're just like, do it again, tell him again. And you might, the first take or two, you might be like, yeah, vindication. But after 12 hours, you're just going to be like, are we effing done yet? Yes, they know. We get it. Let's go.
And then they have to do a big group hug, and they all have to take turns affirming him. Like, it's okay, Will. We still love you, even though you're gay.
Well,
I'm like,
I think that's more because he was so upset and worried, and again, I think this whole point was because Vecna uses your fear and stuff against you. So it was him trying to I'm just going to take control and tell you all so you can't use it against me. In that regard, I get what they're going for, but I just think they just made it go on too long. So, but yeah,
it was
I get what
like
they were going for.
Like freaking 20 minutes of just torturous. Like, what I'm trying to tell you is, I like dick. I'm like, okay, and I was waiting. I was literally waiting for his friend, because his friends, look, they're really his friends. They knew him since kindergarten or whatever. They would have figured it out. I think Mike knew.
Been like, yeah, we know.
Come on, we know.
It's all good. That happens a lot of times. People come out to their friends or family, and their family is like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, that
we
makes
know.
sense. It's okay, whatever. And then you realize it's still the same person you've always cared about and loved. And
no, but it's a real fear. I mean, to be afraid that everybody, if your friends are going to be like, oh, that's weird and creepy. I don't want to be your friend anymore. And I get it. I get and I think that's what they're going for. I think the reason they made such a big deal out of it was because they find a way to shoehorn this, because it was weird that, Vecna, he was using my fear against me. And I'm like, that was enough of a fear that he could take control of your mind. But I was like, that's a little lame. But they're just using it as a, way to also do the coming out scene. But I think that was more about, and all of a sudden he went from, I can't win, he had me outmatched the whole time, which, yeah, of course he did, he's Vecna, to now, I'll be ready for him in the real world because I can deal with it now since everybody knows I'm gay. It's like, what?
I would have been like, wait, that's it? I thought you like fucking killed somebody or something.
That's
literally it. I mean, my mom, when I was growing up, my mom had gay friends. That would have been the 80s, and I was like, I don't really care.
It was
really matter. I mean,
it was a bigger. It was not as widely accepted as it is now, but it still wasn't.
No, yeah, but it wasn't. I think people even brought that up in the comments on Reddit, right? Of course, some people are having meltdowns, but on Reddit, and I think they deleted that thread because they're getting so much pushback. But one person was like, "I am gay, and I came out in the '80s in the South, and it wasn't this ridiculous." Mm-hmm. Like, well, what the hell?
I think they were playing it up. They're playing it up as a, we're going to take that was their. I think what they're trying to make that be is that's the moment where the power is going to shift because they're taking their power back. Like they're taking the power away from him.
Oh my God!
I think that's what they was supposed to be representing. But it's still
like
of
gayness.
But it's funny because even people that are LGBTQ are like,
eye rolling,
unnecessary.
They're
just like the breakup with Nancy and Jonathan. Well, you could unproposal. You accept my unproposal, which means we're breaking up.
That's stupid. This is like the promposal. This is like, maybe I'm old. I am old, but I don't get it. I don't get. This is supposed to be the 1980s, right? People were built a little bit different back then. This shit, all this crying shit, the blubbering, the shit wouldn't have happened. I don't think not as often as it does. I mean, I will give you Steve and Dustin because that was like they really had been brewing for a while.
Authentic. That felt,
It was quick. It was over with. They hit each other. That's very much a guy thing, especially back then. You beat the shit out of each other, and then you have a laugh about it over a beer later, right? But all this other just like, God, it's painful. And what the fuck is Mike doing? Why is Mike there? Mike was the main character, one of the main characters, the first couple seasons.
He's the eye candy for Will. Basically, because that's what set Will off. He was going to kill. They were going to kill his love.
Oh my God! See, I wasn't even getting that actually. I was getting more from like, oh, my friends are going to die. And
I think because he saw it all around. I'm just saying that's probably what they were going for. I don't know. I don't fucking know. All I know is you have that. Then you have the whole Nancy and Jonathan thing, and then you have the whole we're going to sit here and just have a long, lengthy chat and then stroll to our portals to get the hell out of there. And it didn't feel like there was any like urgency. Like you've been trapped there all this time.
There's no urgency. There's no stakes. It's like we're gonna put the world burning on pause. And the plan is fucking stupid. These plans they come up with, like, okay, so we need to get to the sky. So why don't we wait till the sky comes to us and then we get into the sky? That sounds like a great plan. I'm like, are any of you physicists? How the fuck does this even work? Because I thought the upside down was upside down, the portal was upside down below the ground. Now it's above the I don't get it.
It's a wormhole. It doesn't matter. It just
So
comes out different locations.
when the Eye of Sauron appears in the sky, we're just gonna poke it with the radio tower, and then we're
have
gonna
to get up
climb
to
on
it.
in.
Then we're gonna hit it with a spear.
Then we're gonna throw rocks at it. Throw rock at it. There's Vecna up there. Throw rock. I'm like, what the fuck? Go call if you somehow call the president, say, hey, you got your scientist people here doing some crazy shit. Here's what's going on. You bring some nuclear weapons to Hawkins, and
nuke all of Hawkins then. So,
and then you can have this. Then they could be badasses. You can have Will like riding the nuke on the way down, like Dr. Strangelove or some shit.
all they have to do is go to. Okay, here's something else. Nancy shot the matter, the exotic matter, which set the whole building into it because she shot it, which I did think it was kind of cool. They tied it back to like the Philadelphia experiment and Montauk and stuff with the military that kind of melted into the metal and stuff.
The deal was, I guess, the aircraft carrier or something. I think they teleported it, and then when it came back, it's again. That's the theory. That's the lore, the legend. I'm not saying it actually happened, but the legend is that it was teleported. When it came back, we had sailors and military actually embedded into the metal, and it was horrifying.
Yeah, so they kind of went with that, which I thought was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
But she goes up there with the gun. There's something weird that we don't know what it is. So what did you think shooting it was going to do?
Freaking shoot it. I'm like, so that would have been even more
Nancy
poetic.
Was supposed to be really smart in school.
Well, that would have been more poetic if she got Jonathan killed because she did that. That would have been poetic. Like, oh my God, I got Jonathan killed because I shot first and asked questions later. That would have actually been strangely poetic. And Jonathan has no purpose in this show whatsoever. Like, he doesn't need to be there.
If they need to get to the other place and that circle's keeping it and the car got sucked in, why don't they just have and then Holly got sucked back in the sky from that location? Why don't they just have Nancy shoot it again and then shoot it, we have to get the kids back out, I guess, and shoot a nuclear weapon up there and call it a day, but she has to get the kids out.
They can Iron Man it. They can just launch it in the sky. I just be like, okay. So we're just gonna keep shooting into the air until we hit Vecna, and then he drops the kids. That's our plan. Like, what the hell? None of this, man. Like, I am really, truly hoping that they pull a rabbit out of their ass and that this finale winds up being incredible. But right now, we're not the only ones. I thought maybe it was just us and we're just being grumpy or because we've been watching this show since the beginning. Mm-hmm. Like, our kids love this show. And we always watch it the day it drops, and we were looking forward to this. I was looking forward to it. I'm like, well, at least we'll get, wrap this up and whatever. I'm sure they've had plenty of time to think about how to end this thing. So I'm sure the ending is going to be amazing. No. Yeah, it keeps dropping off a cliff on Rotten Tomatoes on the popcorn meter, not on the critical, but the audience score. They said, according to Forbes, season 5 has a 66% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, a far cry from the 96%, 90%, 86%, and 89% of seasons 1 through 4.
Yeah.
So it's not just us. I want to see if it's gone
up
down
until this season. Season 3 was the weaker of the seasons.
63. Yeah. People are pissed. I mean, it's just there's so many things about this that doesn't make sense. This is obviously you guys are just making this shit up as you go. I mean, that's the only explanation.
Cool. And I mean, it ended on such a great high note. Like, Will, it was obvious they kept saying about it. Only you had powers. Only you had powers. It was obvious that's what they're doing when they called it sorcerer and everything else, that he had some kind of ability. But it went from, that really amazing ending into this. And it's like. Yeah,
it was filler. It feels like filler. The
right.
whole thing.
And now they're going to the last one. And then I don't know if it's true or not, but like our son was saying that a whole bunch is going to be like an epilogue from like a year later after the end. So you have this, so there's only going to be like a little bit of time in the last final episode that's going to be them wrapping the story up, and then it's like a year later. And that's probably where they go back that's probably where they go back in time and bring everybody back or whatever.
I honestly that was my theory is because they keep talking about Wrinkle in Time and back, and they're very on the nose.
And Never-Ending Story, and that
Never-Ending Story,
Dimension
with
X
the
kind
nothing,
of like the nothing, yeah.
The nothing, yeah. But I think what's going to happen is somehow they're going to reset time because they keep talking about time travel. That would be a smart thing. But what'll probably happen is they probably won't do that. They'll just do something really freaking stupid. And also I think Callie is potentially the big bad because that's really on the nose. She's named after the goddess of destruction, for God's sake. Right? I mean, come on. Like how more on the freaking
and everybody
nose
else
can you
was
be?
allowed to leave, but she could.
Yes. Yeah. You know, yeah, there's definitely something. There's definitely something up with that, but I don't know, guys. I'm hoping it gets better. I'll just be like, you know, if they scrub out, I'll be like, well, we have the first couple seasons were good. After that, it's just not even worth it. But this is Netflix's biggest thing, right? This is like next to Squid Game, but like, how do you not stick the landing on this?
Here's the thing. They've been working on this Stephen King thing that I guess is not moving forward at Netflix. I'm like, were they wasting their time working on that, not giving this one the ending it deserved? You know what I mean?
Well, that's what happened with Doctor Who. You had Stephen Moffat, splitting his time between Sherlock and Doctor Who, and it was very clear at that point in time he cared more about Sherlock than he did Doctor Who, and you could see Doctor Who suffer in real time until he got gone. So yeah, I mean, I have no idea, but whatever. I don't think this one, if they drop the ball, this one is not going to have the cultural relevance because they're like, this is like Gen Z's Star Wars. I'm like, nah, if you fuck up the ending, they're not going to.
Well, they've already ruined real Star Wars, which is a whole other video coming, by the way. So we'll talk about that.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.